What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Investor Central Club. I'm your host, Max Pitts, and today Wall Street is not waiting for the close to make its bets. As of 11:40 a.m. Eastern, it's already a battlefield. We're seeing SPY and QQQ. Bears are stacking puts like sandbags ahead of Jerome Powell's Jackson Hole Summit. NVDA and Tesla, we're seeing some call flow ramping and starting to gain momentum and traction there as well. And then dark pools, we're seeing defensive ETFs out and risk names in. Repositioning is officially on. So to kick things off, let's talk about some of our big money orders from today. We have a $545 put coming in from QQQ with about a $12.3 million premium coming in. That netted them about 25,000 contracts. And this isn't shocking because with the weakness we're seeing in tech right now, with names like AMD, NVIDIA, Palantir all falling, it's not a shock that we're seeing institutions start to take larger and semi-long dated going into 9, 12 positions against tech. So they're definitely looking for some protection here. And this is definitely some macro risk hedging as well. We're also seeing another QQQ bet coming in with 19,000 contracts, and those are the 450 puts. Again, aggressive. These are some very ballsy bets because that's a $110 drop from what it was trading at. So very interesting to see. But again, at 10:26 a.m., QQQ is down to 561. So not really that shocking. Now, moving on, we had SPY 580 puts coming in for October 17th of 2025 here. And that was 15,900 contracts coming in on that. Again, if we're seeing some downside pressure on QQQ, we're going to see some downside pressure and hedging on SPY as well. This is most likely some macro risk hedging going on. Now, right under that, we saw back-to-back SPY call blocks come in. Now, these are interesting because 675 and 655, but these are also dated out to January 16th of 2026 here. This is a bullish, long-dated call, which was loaded throughout the midday. Again, some people do have hope that if we do get into a more rate cut friendly environment, the market will essentially pump because we will see tech and all of those other names see some relief and get that rally that people have been waiting for in a sense. We're also seeing some more SPY puts come in here as well. We saw Apple 220 calls come in with a $3 million block. Tech quietly is building that steam again after this little downturn that we have been seeing with it over the last couple days. And then with Tesla, we saw 325 calls come in, 1.96 million dropped for premiums, and those are due on October 17th of 2025. This is definitely some early upside conviction. Maybe somebody's front running, maybe somebody knows something. Only time will tell with this one. But again, this is a pretty aggressive premium sitting at $24.20 for the average. So again, a pricey bet at that. Now, moving over into our unusual flow here, we're seeing some weird moves being made. We're seeing QS $7 puts due for September 19th of 2025, a $656,000 block on 0.35 contracts. That is a massive bet on some downside action there. VXX, this is, again, it's basically like an ETF. It's an ETF for the S&P Mini, I think, but I think it trades kind of like VIX. So we saw $60 calls, 636,000 dumped on those. Volatility bets are ramping as macro jitters are coming a rise right now. Now we also saw ETHU come in. October 17th, 185 calls, 360K dropped here. Some Ethereum ETF action after we've seen what has looked like a bloodbath on the crypto battlefield as of late. So be on the lookout for that. We saw Wells Fargo come in as well. $70 puts due, and these are long dated too, because these aren't due until May 15th of 2026. Regional bank caution, more pain ahead. I mean, maybe long-term pain is what they're thinking, but again, only 185K dropped there. So it could be a hedge against a longer dated position or just a position overall. MBI, we're seeing some $9 puts there, $111K dropped into that. It's a niche insure, sharp put block though, so something to look out for, because this is a name that doesn't really get lit up that often, so it's something that you'll always want to pay attention to. Now, in terms of our dark pools, which is where institutions go to make their moves, JAAA is a safety ETF. CLOA is a shift to lower risk yields. QQQM is a tech ETF, and it's still seeing size. BKLN is a senior loan ETF, and that's just an interesting rotation. And ADI in semis, and that's chip demand is showing is intact. So rotation is underway is really the theme here, moving out of short-term bonds into longer duration tech income. Now, looking at some of our flow scanner for the day, this is who is leading. We have SPY kicking things off, back in the lead again, 60 million currently in total overall flow, with about 50 million in puts, with 10 million going into calls. QQQ, we're seeing about 50 million with 42 million. Very bearish skew on QQQ. NVDA, we're seeing a very bullish skew with 16 million in calls. Palantir, oh my God, I think people finally figured out that people realize nobody knows what the company actually does. So look for the sellout. A lot of institutions are pricing it between $40 and $60 for their target prices. So that's still an $80 move down. So be cautious out there. Take your gains when you see them if you are on the upside. Tesla, another bullish name that we're seeing, but again, it's kind of like a casino. 7.53 million coming in against 5.98 million on puts. That's almost a million and a couple pennies separating that. Mister, despite all the controversy, we're seeing 3.57 million going into calls with only 1.65 million in puts right now. So really some weird action going on. Risk off on the indices, but individual tech is still running, as we can see here. I mean, Broadcom's the only one, 5 million in puts coming in. Now, smart money is not in uniform. The flows are mixed, but there's a clear divergence. We're seeing some hedging going on with SPY and QQQ, and betting on NVIDIA, Tesla, and Apple upside. Creeping back into crypto and solar as well, because we also are seeing FSLR down here, with almost all of that premium going into calls right now. So that's really all we have going on for today. We had some slab buys and sells, but from the same guy. Political trades, nothing really going on. And for market events, we had August 20th. We had nothing today. So that's your midday options flow for the day, folks. I'm your host, Max Pitts. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you never miss a Investor Central Club or Trades and Gains video. And I will see you guys in the next episode.